Priest, Chapter 2. 3 years passed, and then there was a sticker. May saw it on Broadway in the corner of a shop window that would be demolished within days. The store was already empty, cleaned out and picked bare, with nothing left inside but dust bunnies and spiders. Everything was shuttered because the city was making way for a light rail station on Capitol Hill. Every year when May returned for the summer, things were different like that. Sometimes it was a small boutique or coffee shop, different, like when Black Taza had closed during the spring. Sometimes it was a whole neighborhood different, like how these buildings would all be gone in a week. That August, she'd be turning 17, so things were about to get really different. Or so she assumed. That's what everyone always said at any rate. But that first day in June, she saw the sticker on the bottom right corner of the soon-to-be-torn-down shop window. She was on her way back from the university district, where she'd been camping out in a park with her notebook, plotting a novel she hadn't told anyone about, and waiting for her dad to notice she was gone. Her dad worked a lot, but sometimes he did it from home, not his office downtown. Even when he was home, it usually took him a few hours to look up and see that she wasn't there anymore. They got along all right, but that was mostly because they didn't spend much time together. May thought maybe she reminded him of her mother. She didn't take it too personally. Anyway, she had a key to the apartment, and she came and went as she chose, to and from the thrift stores, bubble tea shops, and coffee houses, where she still got hot chocolate instead of coffee. Her memories of Libby still stung sometimes, but she hung on to them. She might as well. The whole city was haunted by her. So, the sticker on the very last building before Olive Street shouldn't have caught her eye at all. It was vinyl and cheap. The edge was starting to peel. The colors were a little faded. It was round with a black border. But within this border was the outline of a girl with shiny blue hair. She wore a pink puff-sleeved dress, a tall gold crown, and red chucks. In her left hand, she held a purple sword shaped like a katana. All May could do was stand there staring at the sticker so hard that she couldn't see anything else. Her breath caught in her throat, and she tried to choke it back down, but it stuck there like a big wad of gum. She tried to cough, and that worked a little better, except then she was crying. That dry, heaving cry where nothing comes out. It didn't make any sense. It wasn't possible. She reached out and touched the sticker anyhow, barely believing it was real. It couldn't be, could it? She nudged her fingernail underneath the peeling edge, trying to pry it off in the one piece, but it tore instead, and she was left holding the bottom half, the hem of a pink dress, the fire engine red shoes, the hand with a sword. Yes, it was definitely Princess X. The rest of the sticker refused to budge, so she pulled out her phone and took a picture. She kept staring at the stupid vinyl sticker like maybe it had popped to life and tell her that none of it was ever true. Not the bridge, not the car, not the water, not Libby's closed casket and her empty house with an empty room and an empty closet where the boxes of Princess X memorabilia used to be. Maybe none of it was true, or at least not the most important thing. Maybe Libby was alive. Her phone started to buzz. It was her dad. She didn't answer his call because she had a feeling that her voice would sound like mud, and he'd want to know why. Instead, she put the phone away and walked slowly toward home, her mind reeling with a mix of confusion and excitement. What did the sticker mean? Did someone find their old notebooks, scavenged from some distant Value Village basement? Had someone from school decided to carry the torch? Was it just some bizarre, unlikely coincidence? No, she didn't believe that last one for a minute. She didn't know what the sticker meant, but it meant something. "There you are," her dad said when she came in the apartment door. "Here I am," she confessed. "I called." "Sorry," she offered, but didn't explain. "You want to get some lunch?" His shoulders lost some of their stiffness, and he relaxed into his usual slouch. "Lunch would be great. What are you thinking?" Mexican, she said firmly. If she couldn't get it together over Mexican food, she could always blame the tears on jalapenos. They wandered around the corner to a mom and pop joint they knew that knew them on sight, and they slid into their preferred booth. They ordered their usual and played the small talk game until their food arrived. Once it did, he prodded her. Nothing's wrong, May assured him, around a mouthful of sour cream and beans, but she didn't look at him when she said it. I didn't ask what was wrong. I asked what was up. You're spacey, and you've used all the extra napkins to blow your nose. She thought about lying. He would have liked it if she lied, if she could tell him something minor and dumb that wouldn't inconvenience him, but May was a terrible liar, and she didn't think it'd matter if she told him the truth. If it made him uncomfortable, well, fine. It made her uncomfortable too. All right, if you really want to know, she began slowly, it's about Libby. He got quiet for a second. What about her? May laughed, and she wasn't sure why. It hurt a little. Okay. Well, you remember that thing we used to work on, Princess X? It'd be hard to forget her. You made me and your mother drive all over town trying to get those boxes. Of course I did. They were important. I wanted them back. Things went awkward and silent until he said sorry and looked down at his plate. It wasn't your fault we didn't find them, May said quickly. It wasn't nobody's fault, I guess, but, for a while after you and your mom left, every now and then I'd walk by a second-hand shop and stick my head inside, just in case they'd turn up. You did? She was surprised and touched, but she wasn't sure how to tell him that, so she didn't. He grinned. You beat the habit into me. He took another big bite of burrito. But you never found them, or you would have said something. It was more of a statement than a question, so it would be really weird if Princess X turned up someplace now, right? He stopped chewing, swallowed, took the last napkin off the table and dabbed at his mouth without ever taking his eyes off May. Turned up? Where? On a window down on Broadway. There was a sticker. I assumed you took a picture of the sticker. Show me. He gestured with his fork. She dredged her phone up out of her bag. Her hands shook while she loaded the image. Here, she said as she handed it to him. Her dad squinted down at the small screen. I'd say that's only half a sticker. I know. I tried to pull the sticker off first, but I ripped it. Here's the other half. Despite her best efforts, the sticker had contorted itself into a cigarette-sized tube of unwieldy stickiness. She forcibly unrolled it and smeared her palm across it, struggling to make it lie flat. It stuck to the plastic tablecloth, but tried to curl up again the moment her hand was out of the way. Her dad held the phone next to the sticker, mentally mapping them into a single image. He cocked his head to the left, then the right. That is weird. Weird? It's impossible. I wouldn't say that. We didn't find the boxes, but someone else might have. Maybe some kid picked them up someplace and thought it looked cool. May slid down lower into the booth, the last bites of her enchilada grown cold. I doubt it. You don't doubt it, he said. You don't want to believe it, and that's not the same thing. Her eyes were watering again. She fought them for control of her face, and mostly won. Oh, yeah? He sighed. I know you want to believe that Libby's still out there, someplace drawing Princess X. But whatever the sticker means, that's not it. I'm sorry, I really am. She wanted to be mad at him, but it could have been worse. She could have been trying to explain everything to her mom, and what a wreck that would have been. Her mom would have laughed and said she was wrong about the sticker, and then she'd go back to playing internet Scrabble, and May would get so mad that she'd launch into another ugly cry, and they'd fight. And May would hate her for lying about something so obvious and not even caring about it. At least her dad didn't tell her she was an idiot. He didn't always get her, but he never dismissed her out of hand. He took everything seriously, which was great sometimes, but at that moment, May wanted the fairy tale, and if that's what she wanted, he wasn't the guy to talk to. So they quit talking about it. And once they got home, they watched the Ventura Brothers on Netflix. Episode after episode until her dad announced that it was her bedtime and turned off the TV. That's how he always preferred to change the subject with a remote control.